Yo, what up, YouTube? Just wanted to say a huge thank you for the support you guys showed on the first video. We're already up to over 30 subs. We got a ton of views on it. Make sure that you continue to like and subscribe. We're already a third of the way towards getting a custom URL at 100 subs. I just wanted to say a quick thank you. Today's video is going to be about the time my parents shipped me off to Korea when I was 13 years old. So I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe. Cool. Well, welcome to the second Saturday Scribble Stories. As you can see on the screen, the title of tonight's little story time fireside discussion is When My Parents Shipped Me to Korea. This is the time my parents put me on a plane at 13 years old and sent me off to a foreign land by myself. Let's set the scene. Let's set the scene a little bit for you guys. Let's give you a little bit more of an idea of why some random 13-year-old got on a plane and went to Korea by himself. Because that is not normal. But I'm going to tell you a little story about how it happened. I've come a long way. Let me tell you, I have come a long way. We got little Mitch. I had actually long hair. This is me. I had long hair. This is Dad. This is Mom. And this is me right here with my long hair because I was an idiot who didn't know that long hair looked bad on me. And my dad goes, "Hey, honey, I'm home. So we're going to have some exchange students with us." She goes, "Oh, okay, cool. Like, when?" And my dad's like, "Oh, like, couple days." And so my dad just drops it on my mom like that we're hosting exchange students. And my mom's like, my parents are super go with the flow. And so my mom's like, "Okay, cool. Like, we're going to make it work." And so literally a couple days later, we have exchange students pop up at my house. I, as a little 10-year-old, I'm like, "Oh, cool. Where are they coming from? Like, where are the exchange students coming?" My dad says they are coming from the beautiful land that is South Korea. But I had no idea what South Korea was. I was confuzzled. I was like, "Okay, cool. Like, Korea, that sounds dope." But I had no idea where South Korea was. I did not know they were from Asia. I think South Korea, I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know why. I just thought that all foreign exchange students were from like either Africa or Europe. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why I forgot that Asia as a whole like existed. But okay, I'm 10 years old. You can't judge me. I had no idea. I just am like, okay, cool. South Korea, whatever. So South Korea, they show up and I am confuzzled, to say the least. I had no idea they were going to be Asian. Like, as funny as it sounds now, I had no idea. I did not know that people from South Korea were Asian as a little 10-year-old. So they show up and I am shook. I'm like, oh, was not expecting this. But we went out, played some basketball, played some soccer, had a great time. And so I'm like, great, cool. These little guys and me, we're going to get along great. I got now 2 more brothers to hang out with. I already have 2 younger brothers. And myself, we got Mickey, we got Min. We're just literally playing outside, playing basketball, playing soccer. Soccer sucks, by the way. Terrible sport, but they like to play it, so I played it with them, because I'm a great host. And so essentially, we start hanging out. And for the next 3 years, my parents are hosting exchange students. Like, pretty consistently for like the next 3 years of my life, there's always some kind of exchange student over with us. At one point, we actually had 7. We had 7 exchange students with us. So like that's a whole nother story. But this is the same time we're hosting exchange students. It's like pretty normal. There's always someone from Korea in my home. The lady that brings them over, her name is Kyung. Right here. And this is still little me and all the exchange students. And so Kyung has the bright idea. She comes to my parents and she's like, "Hey, I found a really cheap plane ticket. You want to like send Mitch to Korea?" And my parents said yes. They're like, "Cool, that'll be fun." So no joke, I am 13 years old at this point. So like I said, we've been hosting exchange students for 3 years. And I get on a plane by myself to Korea. So we got LAX. My parents dropped me off at the airport. So the cool thing, for those of you guys that don't know, when you fly by yourself, I think when you're under the age of, I think it's 13 or younger actually, you can get what's called an escort, not in the weird kind of way, but they like will escort you to your gate, to your plane, and then they'll like take you off the plane when you get there. So I'm thinking, all right, this is gonna be a breeze. My parents think it's gonna be a breeze. There are zero concerns. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm a 13-year-old. I'm like, this is gonna be sick. You know, I'm gonna get on a plane. And then you got all these little squares, you know? And I'm thinking, this is gonna be a great time. I'm gonna fly to Korea. And as a 13-year-old, I'm not thinking, hey, the fact that I'm traveling like millions of miles, not millions of miles, thousands and thousands and thousands of miles by myself as a little kid right here, you know, just about to see the world. I'm not thinking, hey, this is probably like not normal. I'm just like, cool, I'm gonna go chill in Korea for a little while. The problem is, so my quote unquote guide, I'm like, okay, so we walk up. These are my mom and dad. They're just waving at me as their son literally flies away to a foreign land by himself. And they're like, oh, cool, this is normal. Apparently it's not normal. My parents thought it was normal. I thought it was normal. So you got little old me just crossed the land of no return right here, this red line. Obviously you got that big old container. So I make it through. And my guide is right here. She seems very nice from afar. You want to know what threw me for a loop? She didn't speak English. I was in LA and the person who's supposed to be telling me what to do didn't know a single word of English. I was shook. I was like, how am I supposed to know what you're gonna, like, what am I supposed to do? You're not saying anything to me. So I like just assume like, cool, I'm gonna follow her. And there was times where she like left me when I was sitting in it, like she was just gone. And so I'm starting to sweat a little bit, you know, little 13-year-old me. I think I'm at the right gate. I'm not really sure. We got, you know, all these chairs. I don't know if I'm at the right place. This guide who's supposed to like teach me what I'm supposed to do, take me from place to place, explain what's going on to me, doesn't speak any English. I'm in LA and my guide still doesn't speak any English at all. All I know is 안녕하세요 and 물. I know how to say water and I know how to say hello. That's it. That doesn't help me much. Although it did help me on the plane when I wanted water. But I'm sitting here just sweating bullets. I'm like, cool, we're 5 seconds in to me going on my own for a trip for the first time. The person supposed to show me around doesn't speak English. So little 13-year-old me, I'm sweating, but like, hey, I can do this. I've done stuff before. I've gone out of the country. What's, you know, traveling by myself. So we get on the plane and luckily people here speak a little bit more English, but you know that scene from like Karate Kid where, okay, how do you draw? Let's see. I'm right here. The stewardess is coming through. You know that scene in Karate Kid, the new one? Whatever, Will Smith's son is like trying to talk to the guy in Chinese and the guy was like, yo, I'm from Detroit. This is me. I'm on a plane full of Korean people. All I'm thinking is, okay, well, if the person who's supposed to guide me doesn't speak English, there's no way in hell anyone else on this plane is speaking any English. So, you know, they're coming down with their sweet little cart of goodness. All I know is mul. That's all I know. And so I'm getting water after water after water after water after water because I think to myself, there's no way they're going to know what Coke is. Turns out, if you just say Coke, it translates. Who would have thought? I didn't. But I learned that roughly like 10 hours into my flight that I can just ask for Coke. And not only that, the stewardess and the flight attendants actually speak English. It was just my guide in America who didn't speak English. And so, you know, little me, I'm on cloud nine. I'm watching all the movies I'm not allowed to watch. I am, because we obviously you have a flight like that, you got your own little TV screen. Obviously it's not that big, but I'm watching stuff with blood. I am watching stuff that's a little more on the risky side that my parents would never let me watch. Apparently, so my parents don't let me really watch anything as a kid, but they let me go to Korea by myself at 13 years old. So sometimes what they let me do and don't let me do is a little confusing, but hey, I got to go to Korea by myself, whatever. I'm not going to complain that I didn't get to watch any PG-13 movie until after I was 13. So we go ahead and we are flying, we're traveling. I spend roughly, I want to say like 24 hours traveling until I finally got to my destination. So I'm just dead, you know, but as a 13, I'm so hyped up on adrenaline. I'm like, this is the best thing of my entire life. And I am met by no one at the start. I get off the plane and I realize, wait a minute. I don't know like where to go. And my guide, she didn't even come on the plane anymore. She literally just like waved bye to me as I'm walking the plane by myself. And I'm like, great, you were gonna help anyways. Like probably could have found this on my own. You didn't even speak any English. How am I supposed to know what I'm supposed to do? Have a good day. So, but then I land and I realized, wait a minute, like the moment she left me in LA, I am just confused. Pikachu face. I'm sitting on the plane lands, and I think to myself, wow, I am now in an actual foreign land with no idea what I'm supposed to do. I am confused. I am shook. I do not know what's going on. But I figured, what's the worst that can happen? I'm already in Korea. How big is this place? I can't get that lost, right? I finally get internet. I'm able to find David and Kyung, my saviors. They are going to be showing me around Korea, and I am hyped out of my mind. So we got little David. So we got Kyung. David here, so David, for you guys that don't know, he is like one of my best friends. He was in my wedding. He's pretty much my Korean brother. She's my Korean mom. And we are just, touring land together. We got North Korea up here with homie Kim Jong-un, who has all the bombs. We got South Korea right down here. So I land up here in Seoul. Busan is all the way down here. I'm not even at my destination yet, and I'm like literally dying. I haven't slept in 24 hours. As a 13-year-old kid, you need to sleep, even as an older person, but especially as a kid, like I need my sleep. So we're getting a bus, and we go all the way down here. Guys, I did not realize, so for those of you who aren't aware, Korean culture, a lot of the times, there is a huge emphasis on outward appearance and show. It's very like flashy. You want to be able to like show that you have the good stuff and you can do the good stuff well. The first place we go to, I kid you not, we show up and the mom just hands me $100. Like, just to like, as a way to say like, hey, we're wealthy and we're going to treat you right. She literally hands me, a 13-year-old kid, $100, which does not do anything well for my ego. She hands me $100 and I'm like loaded. Like, am I that great that these parents are just going to hand me money? Spoiler alert, I'm not. But they all thought I was great because I am just this amazing host who, was so nice to their son when they're in America. Little did they know, all I'm doing as a host for Korean Exchange students is I'm learning how to cuss in Korean. I'm beating them in baseball, and we are playing sports together. I literally just have two extra brothers. I don't do anything work-wise. My parents are the ones like raising these kids. But these parents treat me like a celebrity just because their kids were also in my home for a period of time. Her son, he picked the English name Rocket, which is hilarious because he's probably like 4 feet tall and had glasses the size of his face. Her son Rocket was maybe at our house for like a couple weeks. And that is so much of an honor that she's handing me money. So this just skyrockets my ego. I'm like, haha, top of the world, Americans, I'm going to rule this little country. Because they're going to give me money. Spoiler, no one else gives me money, which I was kind of disappointed in. Like, come on, like, I'm the ish. You got the first house give me money. Everyone else, they like, take me to their restaurant and buy me really expensive food. So like, they still treat me right. But I am full of myself. I think I am the hottest stuff on this side of the DMZ. For those of you who don't know, in Korea, everyone is just cracked at gaming. Like, I don't care who you are, you're good at some kind of games. If you're like middle tier in Korea, you are top of the line gamer here in America. It just is what it is. I don't know why, it's genetics or what, but they are insane at video games. And so they take me to what's called a PC bang, which is literally just a room dedicated to computers. And I think to myself, like, I'm pretty good at Call of Duty. Like, I play games. I play the Xbox. I'm pretty nice. I'm pretty good with the sticks. Here in Korea, there are no sticks. It is only mouse and keyboard. And if you are not mouse and keyboard, you better get off the train because you're going to get left behind. So we got, little old me right here. I'm like, this is sick. I get my free food. It's not free, but they're paying for me because, I'm a celebrity in this place. We got my homie. We got David. We got more homies down here. And they're like, hey, we're going to play some games. We're going to play some Counter-Strike. And I get put through the ringer. They put me in. So as a little 13-year-old, I think, I'm pretty cracked at games and I'm a little nutcase. But when you're in Korean servers, oh my gosh, it is a different beast. I spent every single round spawning in, dying. Spawning in, dying. I'm about to like cry. I'm getting just obliterated. And these guys, of course, are holding their own. They're pretty good. The people are playing. Like, I'm just out of my league. When you're an American and you go play video games in Korea, like, just don't even try. You're not going to do well. It's not going to go well. And this did not go well either. So this was my humbling experience in Korea as a 13-year-old, where I truly learned what it meant to be a gamer. I thought I knew. I did not know. These people eat, sleep, drink video games because they got entire, like, if we got places here where, like, you're going to go hang out with friends, there it's the PC rooms and you play video games. That is what you do. It's so crazy in Korea that you have to have like a citizen ID to even make an account. So like for League of Legends, my buddy David, his brother took his account and got him banned. And my buddy David cannot make an account anymore because his social security number in Korea was linked to that League account. And when you get banned once, you're out. It's one and done. You don't get any second chances. There is no mercy. You get out, you're done forever because your citizenship is like linked to that account and you can't make anything else. And so this is cutthroat gaming, and I am not ready for this. I do not belong. This is not a good time for Mitch. I get absolutely throttled over and over and over and over and over again. But you know what? It made me what I am today. And you know what that is? Still a below average gamer, but hey, at least I know I am not hot stuff. I do not have anything going for me at the end of the day, except for an occasional good one-liner. But, so this is the PC bong. This is probably the highlight of my trip. I mean, obviously it was nice getting free food and getting $100 and flying to Korea for free. But this right here is truly where I learned what it meant to be a man in gaming. So, I spent this entire time touring Korea. I do things like going sledding. I spend time at a mall. We go to the movies. I spend time at the PC bong. I'm flown across literally the entire country, going to different places, seeing different people. At 13 years old, my parents put me on a plane and sent me to Korea at 13. As my trip comes to a close, after 2 weeks being in Korea, traveling around, I get put back on that plane and sent home. This time, you know what the funniest part about it? I get a guide as I'm in the airport. So you got little me right here. We get a guide. This guide speaks fluent English. He does not have any issues communicating with me. He tells me where to get my ticket. He takes me to the gate. He tells me when I can sit down, when I can stand up, when I can get food, when I cannot get food, all in perfect English while I'm in South Korea. But my guide in LA did not speak a lick of English. I was lost. I was more lost in LA than I ever was in the South Korean airports. This was prime. They were driving me around the airport. It was next level stuff. I was a celebrity in this country. But alas, I get on the plane, I fly back home. Now I can have Coke the entire flight because I now know how to say more than mool. I know how to say Coke, a cola, please. And they understood me. But I flew back home and I get to be the hottest kid at school because I got to go to another country by myself for 2 weeks. They're like, wow, this guy Mitch, he's like a world traveler. And so I go from celebrity in Korea to celebrity back home. My ego gets inflated all over again. I go back to being a pompous little idiot. But at least I was humbled for part of this trip at a PC bong and really shown that I'm an idiot gamer who doesn't know what he's doing. But everyone, that is the time where as a 13-year-old kid, I literally got sent on a plane to Korea. And as a result, I now have spent time in Korea. Like 4 other times I've gone to Korea. I've taught English in Korea. I've spent multiple months in Korea with these same people. And I now have siblings, essentially, my Korean brothers and sisters in Korea, who mean the world to me. So like literally, I got to spend time in a foreign country and it's completely changed my life for the better now. Where I now have, like I said, relatives in Korea that I can spend time with. They're my family. If I called them up and said, hey, I'm going to be in Korea in a minute, like they're picking me up from the airport. But yeah, it all literally started from being sent on a plane to South Korea at 13 years old. But that was a huge part of making who I am today is like my parents just like, yeah, enjoy your time over there. Good luck in Korea. Like crazy experience, crazy time in my life, but it was really, really cool. And I really, really enjoyed it. It's really, really fun.